10 years from now, do you think we'll have more or fewer, more or less accelerators out there? Is this a fad? Is this an investment fad for VCs? Is this an investment fad for startups? Or is this something, does this model have real staying power?
Can I use the dreaded quotes? Do you mean accelerators or accelerators?
I mean accelerators.
Real accelerators.
Real accelerators.
Well, we're...
Can you modify the question and say 5 years from now? Because nobody knows what's happening 10 years from now. And I just don't like to bullshit. Right?
I mean, you can say 5 years from now. I think I'm interested to see, is this a long-term thing? And for me, 10 years is in some ways more telling. But if you only feel comfortable evaluating 5, I'll hear you out.
What were you doing 10 years ago, Connor?
Well, so at the moment we're publicly funded, right? So if there's enough accelerators out there doing, private accelerators with private money, we'll step off the pitch and do something else, right? So, but I'm not sure that, I don't know, if that will happen. I think we've all seen, I would think every year for the past 4 years has been a private accelerators come and gone in the Irish ecosystem. So for some people it is a fad. I think there will always be accelerators. I'm not sure there will be so many. I do think we will see more verticals, for sure. And I think there will be a mixture of generics, verticals, and even under the same roof. And I expect that's where we will end up. So I think the shape of them will be somewhat different. I think there will be maybe not less in terms of volume, but maybe less people running them, but running a variety of different ones. Like I said, accelerators, pick your accelerator that matches where you are in your cycle, and I think we'll probably see accelerators multiply across that spectrum as well.
I think more verticals is kind of inevitable. I think that more accelerators is kind of inevitable. I think also that people are going to get pickier on both ends, because they have to. I mean, accelerators work because numerically they work, right? A certain percentage of companies goes into a startup process, whatever that is, and most fail. And then with the good accelerators, slightly less fail. And as soon as you have an arbitrage like that, money is going to find that. And that's what's happening. And as long as the economy grows, well, more of that happens. I think we're going to see something new, though, in the next 5 years, which is pre-accelerator programs. And you've got NDRC kind of has that with the 20K thing, but I think you're going to actually see even shorter. I think we saw Startup Weekend sort of rise and then get acquired. But I think somewhere in between there lies a sort of ideal program for pre-accelerators. So that would be my 5-year prediction is it's kind of like the right prep school before you go to university. Yeah, we're going to see that. I don't know whether it's going to add any value, but I think we're going to see it.
Pre-accelerators we found, and we're going to run 3 next year, we have found really useful. So someone that has an idea or proposition, or they've got access to IP and they don't need a team. So one of the most difficult things that we deal with, particularly with ideas or IP coming out of the research base, is actually getting a great team around the IP or around the idea. And I spend a lot of my time trying to match CEOs or entrepreneurs with ideas. And the pre-accelerators are great for that, because trying to figure out if you can work with someone over teas and coffees and will be your CEO is really difficult. But if you run a pre-accelerator, and we don't put money in, we just have this space and our time and mentorship, and we sort of take you through that sort of problem.
Do you take equity for that?
No, so we see that as it helps our pipeline, and it's a value add hopefully to the ecosystem. So.
I was just curious, would you see pre-accelerators taking equity?
I think there are greedy people everywhere.
So when I say pre-accelerator, this is pre-formation, right?
I
individuals,
understand
and our early one we called swequity, right, which is sweat equity, right? So there was no equity to take because there was no company. So as a group of people come together, and we use a crowdsourcing process for people to self-select. And then we take them through a program that may be 8 weeks or 10 weeks long. So for us, we get to watch the dynamics of the team. We get to work with them, validating their problem solution. And they get to work, more importantly, they get to work with each other and figure out, can they work with each other? And I find particularly for researchers coming from academia, it really helps them appreciate what commercial people and entrepreneurs can bring to a startup. So when they do have the equity discussions, they can be more reasonable.